Admiral's Log. Date, October 13th, 1900. Once again, the HMS Goliath encountered a German battleship, and once again they have eliminated said battleship without much trouble. I've commended the captain and her crew. When the Goliath came back into dock, I noticed the crew had painted 2 sinking German battleships on her conning tower. While this is officially against regulations, I've decided to let it slide. It's a minor act of insubordination that will give the crew a much-deserved morale boost. The 6 new battleships, Interdictor, Warspite, Albemarle, Vanguard, St. Vincent and Redoubtable, are coming along nicely. They'll be ready for deployment in 13 to 15 months. Until that time, it will be up to the existing fleet to keep the Germans at bay. Now, just as I'm writing this, one of my ships has reported a new contact with the enemy, so it is back to the war room. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to the British campaign. We're on episode number 3. I have contact. There is a convoy, and my 3 battleships, the Erin, King George V, and the Malaya, are escorting a couple of transports. Normally, this of course would be cruiser duties, but the British Navy takes their transports and their convoys very seriously. And that's why we've dispatched 3 battleships to do that. They have been, however, encountered by the Dessau, the Fürst Bismarck, and the V8. All of these need to be eliminated. It's an excellent opportunity to get rid of some of these heavy cruisers. That's provided that the Germans today actually decide to fight. It would be an interesting change of pace if they actually do decide to fight. Because so far we have seen these guys operate. They seem to take great pleasure in trying to find a convoy. Trying to fight a convoy, however, is something vastly different. Because these ships, these heavy cruisers, these destroyers, they just don't materialize. They just don't actually go into the fight. Let's get these guys to detach from the transports. And I've parked them, hopefully, between the transports and the attacking cruisers. To keep the flagship in a decent position. So if I can keep the Erin in the middle of the King George and the Malaya, that should be good. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the destroyer pops up out of nowhere. Because our ability to spot at great ranges is pretty terrible. The weather is not that bad. It's a bit cloudy with a gentle breeze. So that shouldn't affect it too much. But I think that the AI, once again, just elects not to fight at all. Once again, the cowardly Germans have feinted an attack upon our convoy, and then promptly turned around and sailed away. And I am starting to get a little annoyed with the AI. I was hoping that setting it to hard difficulty at the start of the campaign, that the ships would actually do something useful and attack. They're simply not. They're simply not. Of course, if they turn around and just beat a retreat before even firing a single shot, I wouldn't be able to catch the heavy cruisers, because I can do 21 knots and they can do 21.7, and I would never catch the destroyer, which can do 27 knots. So it is these ships that, well, they sort of try and make an attack and then promptly don't. A little while later, we encounter 2 new heavy cruisers. And it's the Queen Elizabeth and the Hannibal, with respectively trained crews and regular crews, which have 12.5% accuracy bonus and 6.9. That encounter 2 new heavy cruisers. This is not a fair fight, which is exactly as I like them. The Queen Elizabeth starts out with a 6% accuracy, and the Hannibal is even greater at 8.1. And you can already see that the Germans are immediately starting to retreat. There's not that much that they can do short of running away. But there are very, very few things which are faster than an 11-inch shell. So as much as I try and run away, even with flooding, I think that the QE and the Hannibal are also going to get commended. Not as much as the Goliath, of course. I mean, the Goliath so far has taken down 2 German battleships, single-handedly. And the Dessau, and surprisingly the Fürst Bismarck, which was the one that we saw in the North Sea and it's now operating near Dover, this thing gets around. these guys are simply trying to attack another convoy. And this time they're actually fighting. Although it seemingly is going to be a short fight. Now if we zoom out a little bit, I'm going to break a bit of character here and let's say look at the campaign at large. The AI, when it comes to formations, I'd say they have been improved. Because I've had to fight my own ships less. That's definitely very nice to see. The campaign has also gotten new features. That's also very nice to see. Now it is up to, I think, the aggressive AI setting, or the settings that determine how and where the AI fights, that needs work. I think that should be the next major improvement that the studio does to the game. Because frequently, and I don't even feature all of them, frequently I have had these skirmishes with heavy cruisers and light cruisers. They attack a convoy and then just don't do anything. They don't show up. Whereas if the AI was set to aggressive, and for example tried to bypass, this by the way is not a good show for the Germans, because if I miss the Dessau I might still hit the Fürst. This way the Germans maintain their ships, sure. Arguably that is more intelligent. Because if they run away and wait for a battleship to encounter one of my ships, then yes, they have a greater chance of success. But from a gameplay perspective, it is not great. Because you're just sitting around, I'm basically scrolling Reddit waiting for the encounter to happen. Which, yes, it might appeal to some people, but it doesn't really appeal to me. I want to, within the first, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes of the in-game timer, see the contact and shoot the contact or be shot at. Not this nonsense where I have to chase down the enemy for hours and hours on end and hope that I'm able to catch them. So, the AI setting and how aggressive they operate, I think, should be the next thing that Game Labs addresses. Something else that I think should be addressed, I get the question almost every video. Why am I seeing this game on Steam? But why is it out yet not out? How does this work? The last thing I saw on the forums is that the game is coming out into early access on Steam sometime around December. So let's say Christmas is what they had on the forums, I think. You can already get it through their website. Steam, of course, is easier, but you'll have to be a little bit more patient. And whether they're going to make that Christmas deadline, I don't know. Because we've seen situations before where they said we're trying to get this game on Steam by date X, and that date has long since passed. So whether it's going to work, I don't know. The campaign is making good progress, that's definitely sure. Whether that'll also happen with the release of the game, I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, we've sunk one of the cruisers. Fürst Bismarck is running away, and as you can see, this guy is not even carrying torpedoes. Their aft turret is already heavily damaged, and there is not that much that they can do. Once again, flooding. I'm a little concerned that I might shoot my own ship. If the Hannibal fires a bit cross-eyed and misses, or, well, if she fires a bit cross-eyed, she could hit the stern of the Queen Elizabeth. So let's have these guys spread out a little more and take down the Germans. Something else I found with the campaign, so far all the encounters that I've had were favorable. Simply because player ability to manage a ship, combined with having a better ship than the AI, generally leads to a win. I think in the campaign that I did before this, that I did not show, so it was the British 1890 campaign, there were, out of the 20 battles that I did, maybe one, maybe two that I lost, at worst. And that was due to mismanagement because I didn't see enough torpedoes coming. Yes, that happens to me even off-screen. Aside from that, it's a bit easy. I think the AI is going to need some sort of a buff to make sure that it gets competitive to a player, even at hard mode. Because so far, I've sunk 2 of their ships at no expense of my own. Yes, they've been damaged, sure. But I already paid the shipyard, so It's not like they're going to not get fixed. What that buff should be? I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments. What buff do you think the AI needs in order to be more, let's say, competitive with a player? Oh, that looks uncomfortable. What is something that the AI could get? I wouldn't give them more tech. Maybe more ships. Or the ability to pick more favorable encounters. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments. Looks like we're, at this rate, going to be sandwiching the Fürst Bismarck. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing Fürst correctly. I've been corrected so many times about that. U with the dots on it. The umlaut in the comment section, and I just keep forgetting. At this point, though, it's more like the worst Bismarck, because this thing has barely done anything. 102 points of damage. She can definitely take it, though. She's taken 2600 damage. That's a heavy cruiser. That's a hell of a heavy cruiser at that. In case you're already furiously typing up a comment saying, why don't you slow down to full speed, you get more accuracy? Yes, I do get more accuracy, but I'm trying to get into torpedo range. And since the heavy cruiser doesn't have any, I can effectively charge them down with the battleship, which also increases my effectiveness of the 4 and the 6s. And, if need be, throw a torpedo in there just for good measure. But by the looks of it, this ship doesn't really require the full attention of a torpedo launcher. Just one more hit to the bows, and she should be done. There goes one bow compartment. QE, maybe not ram. That'd be a bit aggressive. There we go. So that's 2 heavy cruisers less to worry about. Doesn't mean the Germans are out of ships, though. Oh no, they still got plenty of those. They are still looking at 62 ships, because of course they keep building new ships. They have discovered picric acid. Yeah, they finished construction of the Victoria Louise. But, and I didn't show you this, I have discovered the Mark II 12-inch gun. And that means that I can now pick something new to research. I'm still focusing on the control station. Still focusing on big guns. But what the next revelation is going to be, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Ships. Yeah, they're going to be a while. No encounters. Convoy. What do we have? You're right. Let's see if they're home. Let's see if they actually show up. Apparently they are. That's the heavy cruiser. There is... I think this is the DD and this is the light cruiser. Or vice versa. But look at that. Look at that. The guy's objective is the transports. But the heavy cruiser immediately turns tail. Now you could argue that turning tail is a quick response to finding 4 battleships in your path. Which arguably is the more intelligent decision. You really don't want to fight that. At the same time, from there, I think they could have taken some fairly safe shots at the transports. And there wouldn't really be that much that I could do about it. The destroyer and the light cruiser should be just rushing my battleships. I have secondary armaments, but they still aren't probably capable of taking out the ship before I actually get a couple of torpedoes jammed into my bow. Hold on, is this a different ship class? The V9? Oh crap, I didn't even spot those before. The V9 torpedo, or the V9 has 3 torpedo launchers. 4, effectively. But they can only bring 3 to bear at any given point. Unless they go bow in which case they might launch all 4. So, with the V9, they could probably rush the Canada, in this case, as the lead ship. And possibly sink it, too. Because these are 15-inch torpedoes. And while I have a torpedo blister, it would cause a lot of flooding. At this rate, though, just sailing away, not able to drop any kind of a torpedo, you're just a sitting duck. And just note how much damage those fires are doing. I haven't really hit them that much. I've hit them 4 times. But the fires are raging out of control. And out of the almost 700 points of damage, 400 damage of that was fires. Because these guys cannot put a fire out, apparently. This is exactly what I think needs to be addressed in the game. Right here. I get that you're scared shitless of 4 heavy battleships. Yes, it makes sense. Running away, by far the best choice for survivability. But then, what is the Germans' longer campaign plan, if you will? Because it's not like they're going to be just waiting until they get more battleships. I doubt that that's how the AI works. Have we seen this light cruiser before, by the way? This design in general. Because we've had some encounters with light cruisers, but I think this is the first time I'm actually seeing one. Port and starboard torpedo launchers, 3-inch guns, 2-inch, lots of 5s. This thing, if left unattended, can cause a lot of damage to a bunch of transports. There's an excellent chance that it will kill them. What is the Bulwark doing? What? The Bulwark is the lead ship? No, it is not. Why is my formation backwards? Go. Secondaries are still working over the destroyer, which, like the torpedo boats, has some magical ability to recover from floodings. Do they have anti-flood? Yeah, anti-flood too, so that makes quite a bit of a Look at this! Full, empty. Job done. I think they cannot fix that 3rd compartment though. Or the 4th, actually. Here we go again. Filling up with water. 2 compartments. Buoyancy, 61, 60 holding. 64, 65, 70. Done. And back to 85. Oh, you gotta love these little ships. They're so ridiculously good at getting rid of flooding. It just makes no sense. Destroyed secondary tower. Can you even do any kind of damage? Yeah, against superstructure. But they've done 2 points of damage against 2,500. If they'd hit me with a bunch of torpedoes, that's easily a good amount of damage. Easy. This is where the AI needs work. This is where I think the game can improve a lot. So why the fuck do I have a transport following me? What the hell? See, this I don't get. Transports, the moment that they notice that they're under attack, should immediately disengage. But they're not. They're just not. They're instead still following, only because I noticed this line, they're following the Canada. These are not warships. These have no business being anywhere near the front line. Even though at this rate there won't be a front line. Because it's not like these boys have a lot of chance to survive. Survivability on these guys is at least good. Maxi bulkheads. It's going to keep them alive a little longer than normal. Maybe that's something that the AI does different when you set the campaign difficulty to hard. It builds slightly better protected ships. Although in case of the Nuremberg, well, see, arguably this is a pretty decent ship. If this thing encounters a convoy and the convoy is unprotected, it will eat it raw. But if you encounter a bunch of battleships, you're done. I think that the way that the campaign works right now, and I could be wrong about this, is that the AI builds their ships first. And that means that they're not responding to you, nor should they. Let's see, this is div. You need to join here. There we go. Nor should they. But if a player does something as weird as only building battleships, just because, or even worse, like I did in the previous campaign, basically, only build torpedo boats, just because, then there is not that much that the AI can do. Sad as it is. Oh well. Just considerations. After getting hit a total, or after getting shot at, a total of 3,500 times and getting hit 99 times, the Prince Adalbert is not looking too good. Most of the ship is on fire, all the engines are out, the rudder's out, several compartments of the ship have been flooded. This thing is in poor shape. I'm basically waiting for one of the torpedoes, which she actually dodged, to finish off the Prince Adalbert. Had the AI really had a chance here? I don't think so. It's just too much firepower that I'm concentrating on one ship. Nevertheless, the ship had to go because... See, this shouldn't happen. At least encounters like these shouldn't happen. Nevertheless, they have a few ships less. Right. Still 62 ships, because they have completed 3 new destroyers, the V-15, 16, and 14. What else can we find in our war with Germany? And when's our new ships coming out? 10 to 12 months. Excellent. Nothing. German Empire has created plans of a new design. The Witter class heavy cruiser, the Ostfriesland class battleship, and the V-17 class destroyer. Very interesting. I look forward to seeing these things in person. Means they're still at 62. Oh, sorry, they've created plans. They haven't built them yet. That's a bit of a difference. Tech. Still don't know what I'm researching for control station. Big guns, no progress. No progress, or at least not noticeable. Ooh! Enemy ships sighted near our coast. They seem to be a small force. Yes, but we got the King Edward VII, the Malaya, and the Revenge. I haven't seen the Revenge fight before. Let's put her through her paces. As we take down yet another of the German battleships. Let's go east. And let's take down these Germans. Looks like because of the weather, it's going to be a bit of a difficult fight. Although a brief one for this torpedo boat. Because my crews have been training. They're now veteran, which means they get a 30% accuracy buff. Much to the chagrin of this poor torpedo boat. That, despite the negative weather conditions, still got hit pretty severely. And that was opening salvos, which surprised me all the more. Because I wouldn't expect my ships to be this accurate this early. It's time to watch those 4-inchers do what they do best, as well as all the 3-inchers. Although the 3-inchers haven't actually hit much. And there's their battleship. Let's show the Germans that it's not great. Oh, sorry, it's a DD. It's not a torpedo boat. Same difference, though, because that thing can shit out torpedoes pretty quick. Focus fire on the V-16, everybody. That thing needs to go before it uses those torpedo tubes. Thank you. It causes all sorts of damage to my ships. So that's one down. The Malaya is veteran. The Revenge is seasoned. Seasoned is 25% accuracy. The Veteran is plus 30%. And also 50% less aiming time, which is substantial. Now here come the smaller ships. This is their torpedo boat, and this is the light cruiser. The torpedo boat takes priority, as I'm going to turn my ships broadside and maximize their firepower against both the light ships and the battleship. Already blown up one of the main guns. It is not very clever to operate this closely to the torpedo boat, even if you're not the target, because then the Danzig is going to get hurt. Prince Adalbert already lost a secondary gun. And what kind of crew do you have? You got seasoned crews. Yeah, but I got 3 times the... Well... Maybe not strictly 3 times the firepower, as the Malaya just popped her turret. And unfortunately, it's going to be fighting with just 1 turret. Torpedo boat in dire straits here. Another flooding. The S8 is down. All ships, secondaries on the Danzig. She carries torpedoes and I'm not interested. At all. Malaya turn. Look at how quickly we've dismantled the Prince Adalbert. She's already down to half buoyancy and 75% of her structural. Another main gun on the Danzig got destroyed. There's one there. I'm not so sure where the other one is. That flash fire is a bit annoying though, because it means the Malaya is a bit less effective. It's her stern turret that's just completely missing. And these are not bad ships by any stretch. They have more armor than I do. It's just that the guns are probably too underwhelming. Although, they hit hard enough that I actually get a flash fire. Let's just charge this boy down. Into the funnel, nothing severe. You do carry your torps, all sides. Let's split off the King Edward and have her turn towards the light cruiser. And the Malaya and the Revenge are going to continue on their way. But in 2 different divs. I want the Malaya turning that way and the Revenge continuing on. Switching fire to the Danzig. If I continue firing at the König Albert, I might hit the Malaya, which already has a pretty wounded stern. And I'm not interested in reducing her structural integrity even more. Flooding on the Danzig. Oh shit. I was worried about that. I didn't realize I'd gotten that close. This is gonna hurt. Especially considering that I'm turning towards the light cruiser and the battleship. So it's entirely likely that the König Albert returns fire with her stern torpedo tube. And that, yeah, there it is. Oh, that looks uncomfortable. That the Malaya might take another torp. König Albert dodged the torpedo. Interesting. Yeah, Malaya's fine. Danzig is done. You can keep turning away. Starboard turn. Where's she flooded? Stern. So if I hit her in the bows, she's in trouble. There's the torpedo. The König Albert spots it and starts turning away, leading to a hit on her stern, meaning no more flooding. Yet. I'm going to keep a bit more distance with the Revenge. I'm concerned that I might still get hit. Or at least shot at with a torpedo. Slow you down as well. How fast are you? 5 knots. I refuse to throw the engines in reverse with this ship, because it'll just damage them beyond repair. 535 damage from the torpedo hit, but effectively it's not very deadly, because it's the compartment that already got flooded. Another torpedo. This time I do hit a different compartment. Oh. Oh shit. Turn, King Edward. Turn. We're fine. How's the Malaya doing? Ah, you're perfectly safe. Excellent. Another torpedo out from the King Edward. From one king to another. And this time it strikes a compartment, or a few compartments, that were not yet flooded. And with that, 17%, 15%. I think the Germans are about to lose another battleship. Done. The Malaya might need a bit of repairs, though. I wouldn't be surprised at all if she's going to be out of commission for the next 4 months or so. Look at that. So the Germans are back to 60 ships. How long is my ship going to take to repair? The Malaya. 3 months. Not even too bad. 3 months. What, do we not have a full crew? What do we do? Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to save that convoy for the next episode, if it is worthy of showing. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. So far, the war is going properly well. Be sure to subscribe to catch the next one. And until then, thank you for watching.